Let's talk about raw food for long life and great health and boosting up your immune system. Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist. Get healthy now. Hi, Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist here. Let's talk about a lot of raw food, which is good for you. And really it does boost up your immune system and help you with long life and great health. You know, early man fossils go back 300 million years. And we started using fire to cook food about 3 million years ago. So that means about 297 million years, give or take a little bit, a few million years. We actually ate mostly raw food. And so we have a long digestive system, which is very long compared to a lot of other animals, to break down, fiber in food, and lots of whole food, plant-based diet foods, which are raw. I'm not saying going 100% raw. I recommend about 85% raw. I especially recommend getting in cooked beans, which are really good for you. But raw is good for the body. I have a great complexion because a lot of people comment about it because I eat a lot of raw. There's no doubt about it. And it's really good to eat that raw because you lose 100% of the live enzymes when you cook food and up to 75% of the nutrients in food. There are some foods that actually gain a little bit, like beans actually end up with more nutrition because you're actually able to bring it into our body, assimilate it into our body with beans. But you can actually sprout beans, and that will work raw also. But for a lot of people, I see a lot of people eat nothing but canned food and cook food all the time, and they look not so great. Their immune system's down. There's one study actually is important. It actually shows that the thymus gland, as a result of accumulated metabolic damage and with particular enzymes that we take in, helps to recoup that, so our immune system is booted up and our T cells start working better. Cooked food, a lot of people are sickly. It's not good if you eat cooked food 100% of the time. Some people even say it's dead food, even like dehydrated vegetables, the dehydrated food, or lots of dried food in general. I call it dead food. There's no doubt about that. I like to pick up a bell pepper and take a bite. Now, this has a lot of vitamin C. And when you cook it, a lot of that vitamin C disappears, and also the B vitamins, a lot of it disappears. So it's really important to take lots and lots. The bell pepper like that has more vitamin C than you get in an orange, really. It's a lot of vitamin C. Okay, processed food, that's also dead food. Now, also devoid of live enzymes. Every time you cook anything, process anything, all the live enzymes disappear, and a lot of the nutrition. New science, we actually now know if you take a green leafy vegetable and photons come into that, this is science now, come into those leaves, and they're there, and when we consume them raw, the actual photons go into our cells of our body. Wow. That's amazing. I always thought that was metaphysics, but it's science now. So I think it's really important. Also, science, cooking of nutrient-dense foods tends to destabilize some of the valuable enzymes and destroys antioxidants and vitamins. We know that from science now. We have less autoimmune disease when we eat a lot of raw foods. And it's more alkalizing, reduces acidity in the body, and have less chance of fermentation going on in our body and the gut, and this causes less inflammation and less autoimmune disease. So, wow, that's pretty amazing. Also, cooked food can lead to leaky gut disease. And studies show that during this fermentation process in the gut, which is not good, the proteins putrefy and fats go rancid, and we end up with leaky gut disease, and actually causes problems with permeability of the gut itself, and we end up with little holes, breaking down the villi and all that kind of thing. So it's really not good. Raw foods is more alkaline and helps to balance our body's acid-based process going on in our body. Being acid actually leaches out calcium from our bones, and we become osteoporotic also. Also, cooking depletes vitamins and minerals, and so we deplete vitamin C and the B vitamins and other certain minerals and trace minerals. So that's really important. Balances blood sugar when you eat raw foods, and especially because it has a lot of fiber. You know, taking a little bit of this bell pepper has a lot of fiber in it, and it helps to balance the blood sugar. And I've seen the raw foods actually help with diabetics to get them back down into a normal range again. A study in Journal of Nutrition 2005, long-term eating of raw foods lowered triglycerides, cholesterol, and lowered inflammation. Wow. Study in the diseases actually showed that in this journal that we had less problems with cancer, less problems with depression, less problems with diabetes and thyroid disease and cardiovascular disease. So this was a long-term study also. So in general, eating more raw foods is important. Raw food has more fiber, absolutely positively. So the more fiber we have, the less problems we have with colon cancer and that type of thing. Also, it relieves constipation, aids in digestion, keeps away that feeling of being empty and needing to eat something all the time. You feel full more often. Combats obesity. You just don't get fat eating a lot of raw fruits and veggies. You feel thin and healthy and vibrant. Less inflammation. You can run like crazy. I'll get into some of that in the end. And so some people I know actually had cancer and on and on, and towards the end of this. Improves liver function. So a lot of people with liver problems nowadays eat a lot of raw foods. Helps with stress. Those enzymes help to lower down stress in the body. Like I said, cooked food is more acid and lowers the immune system in general, and that's not good. It can help with eating a lot of raw foods. Can help with cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, cholesterol, osteoporosis, and kidney disease. Also, Parkinson's also is some kind of connection between not eating a lot of raw foods and Parkinson's. Gallbladder disease, fatigue, food allergies, muscle aches and pains because you have inflammation going on, headaches, and hormonal imbalances, and trouble with weight loss. So you're just obese all the time and you can't lose weight. Joint pain, like I said, headaches a lot. All these things are really connected to not eating enough raw food. Heartburn, gas, indigestion, and constipation are things of the past if you start eating a lot of raw food. I don't recommend eating 100% raw, but I recommend about 85% raw. I mean, it's raw breakfast, raw snacks, raw lunch, raw snacks in the afternoon, and then eating a hot meal at the end of the day or whenever you just decide you want that hot meal. So you just feel better. You have a better quality of life also. So also you feel more satisfied, and you have more balance of water and nutrients in your body. So that's really important. It saves on money. You know what I mean? You'd be a cheap date. $3. That's all it takes to eat raw. On the average, that's what it takes. $3 to eat raw. So you save on cooking and save on, if you use gas for cooking or use electricity for cooking, and so you don't have to do that, pay for that. Less water is used. You don't have to, clean the pots and pans. You have more vitamins. You don't have to take as many vitamins. All kinds of different things. It's easy eating also. Eating raw, peel a banana, you eat it. Everything is compostable also. Another study in Basic Health Publications, heating food beyond what changes in chemical structures necessary actually lowers down vitamins and robs it of energy. So very good. Less sodium. You eat a lot of things like cucumbers, so they have a lot less sodium in them than eating something like processed food. There's no doubt about that. So it helps to control blood pressure, actually helps with strokes and heart failure and stomach cancer and kidney disease. A study with the Nobel Prize winning laureate Batanin, hope I said that right, he's a biochemist, actually showed that enzymes in uncooked vegetables released in the mouth while chewing actually mix with other things in our digestion process to help us with having good health in general. Less inflammation, and we lower down levels of IGF-1, which is high amounts because that can actually lead to breast cancer and prostate cancer. So eating a little bit of raw food is good. Easier on the body. Personally, I feel light and have more energy when I actually eat raw most of the time. I would probably eat 99% raw if I could get away with it, but my wife likes a hot meal in the evening. So I end up eating a hot meal in the evening. But I like to have a salad also in the evening and then have beans with that also. So that's my favorite day. Breakfast raw, snacks raw, lunch raw, and have a salad with beans on it. And that with a bunch of other raw veggies, I feel great. There's no doubt about that. There's also cancer, actually a lot less problems with oral cancers, esophageal cancers, bladder cancers, laryngeal cancers, gastric cancers, all kinds of cancers. So eating also lots of raw cabbage and Brussels sprouts and broccoli and kale, cucumbers and all kinds, especially the cruciferous vegetables are really good for keeping away cancer, and especially raw. Lots of great flavor. You're cooking this bell pepper, it doesn't have as much flavor as when you eat it raw. It just bursts in your mouth. I mean, it's just amazing. And I think that's really important. Meal preparation is super simple when you eat raw. All you have to do is cut things up and you're ready to go. Also, some people say, like with tomatoes, lycopenes, you get more if you cook them. Well, nature knows exactly how much lycopene we need. And all those 100 other nutrients in a tomato work together with that lycopene to keep away cancers and prostate cancer and things like that. So I think that nature knows best. There's no doubt about that. Stephen Arlen, he wrote the book Nature's First Law. He said cooked food is poison. I think that's really important. I would agree with that 100%. You try to eat a little raw, especially beans, which are good for you. But, eating a lot of raw cooked food is really not good. Also, you don't get trans fats in raw food, and you don't get a lot of saturated fats in raw food, except for like coconut. That's one I would minimize as much as possible. Raw food also is extremely high in nutrients such as potassium and magnesium and fiber, and phytochemicals in general, which are really good for the body. Study in a journal of nutrition stated that increased use of raw foods in diet lowers both cholesterol and triglycerides and indicators of heart disease and obesity and high blood pressure. So really great. Ed Douglas, the director of the American Living Foods Institute, he said, never meant to eat cooked food. Man was never meant to eat cooked food in general. And I kind of have to agree with that because of 297 million years, we ate nothing but raw food. So really very interesting. Another study, increased vegetable consumption actually ends up with more ability to be able to repair our body and have more protein in general. We don't need 20% protein. We need exactly 5 or 6% protein, which you'll get from every fruit, vegetable, and grain. Exactly what we need. And we get more than that. I've actually seen an increase in kidney disease. So Mother Nature knows exactly what she's doing. Well, you feel light when you eat raw. There's no doubt about that. lower in fats, more energy. I think that's really important. We only need about 10%, and we just feel good when we eat a little bit more of these vegetables. Aids in digestion, fiber actually slows down digestion, and we end up with a healthy digestion, and it feeds our probiotics also. Vitamins are not changed when we eat a live food. There's no doubt about that. Controls your appetite. You eat raw more, and you feel less hungry. Healing diabetes. Dr. Cousins, actually spelled Cousins, actually did a study with 6 people. 4 of them stuck with it for 30 days, and they actually ended up putting them on a raw diet, completely raw, even raw breads and different things, and they were healed of their diabetes. Wow. Good for the heart, low in saturated fat and salt. You can eat more, you feel satisfied more, you feel great. You know, if you eat a big salad, you can eat a lot, actually, and you feel good. More energy, you just increases your energy levels. You look more youthful. Your skin looks good. There's a lot of people comment about my skin. Well, I eat a lot of raw. Less visits to the doctor. You decrease your costs that way. Less expensive, as I said. Meals are very inexpensive. Beans are important. I think cooked beans are important. Or you can sprout them also, which is good. You need less sleep. They find that people who eat a lot of raw food need less sleep, and they get a better quality of sleep, and they wake up refreshed. You just look better, you feel better, your skin looks better, you lose weight, you improve your digestion, reduction in many different types of diseases. Another study in the Journal of Nutrition actually shows and exactly the same thing: lowers down cholesterol, helps with digestion, helps with triglycerides, helps with inflammation, and on and on. Better for the environment. You don't have plastic, boxes and cardboard boxes and things like that. It's got its own packaging. It comes with it that you eat. Don Weaver, author of The Survival of Civilization, said, most helpful diet for humans and Earth as a whole is a raw foods diet. Eat organic. It's important. If you're going to eat fruits and vegetables and that type of thing, you got to eat organic. You don't need, 32 chemicals in your potatoes. That's not good. The potatoes on the average got to be cooked. Like parsley, over 40 chemicals. Not good. So you want to make sure you eat organic food. Your cravings go away. A lot of people find with eating a lot of raw food that they don't have the cravings for coffee. They no longer have a craving for alcohol in the evening and that type of thing also. Their sugar cravings go away and replace by foods that are more healthy for them. Also, at one particular person in Australia, she came down with cancer in her 50s, and they gave her 6 months to live. And this is a very amazing story. And she said, no, I'm not giving up yet. I'm not going to die, just turn over like that. That's not good. Now she decided, and her and her husband decided to go on a total raw foods diet. And within 2 or 3 months, I think it was 3 months, the cancer disappeared completely. And they started feeling wonderful. They started running like crazy. They used to have a lot of inflammation. That was in their 50s. In their 60s, they lived in Australia, they decided they were going to run the circumference of Australia. That in 1 year. And that's a marathon every day. That's 26 miles every day. And they did it without having any problems with their knees or their hips or the feet or anything. They did fall a couple times and they broke a couple of ribs, but they healed while they were running. And they were amazed at how well they did in their 60s. And they are in their 70s, almost 80s now, and they still look fantastic and no cancer whatsoever. That's a 10,000-mile trek. Wow. I don't know how they did that. Another lady, she had ongoing depression since her teens, and she decided that she wanted to go and try raw. And so she went on a raw foods diet, including a couple other things that she thought were important, like beans and that type of thing. And all of a sudden, her depression went away. And you will find a lot of YouTube segments showing a lot of people who started eating a whole foods, plant-based diet, and especially raw foods, and their depression disappears. And she was plagued by this for a long time, and she even tried to kill herself once, to commit suicide. And so, on and on and on. A lot of these things playing out, showing that raw foods are important. And like I said, I don't recommend eating a total raw diet, which some people do. These people she had the cancer and they live in Australia. They do nothing but raw completely. And when they were running during the day, they would have a big raw veggie smoothie in the morning, and then they'd have 12 bananas. Then they'd have a big juice drink later in the afternoon. Then they had a big salad. So, wow, and pretty amazing stuff. And they also they craved a lot of fat, so they end up with avocados and olives and things like that also while they were running. They were using a lot of energy, no doubt about it. So think about actually using a little more raw food in your diet. Your body is going to be blessed because of it, and I highly recommend it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I highly recommend that you give me a call and find out about doing a consult. We can get you on the road to feeling great, changing your life, and feeling better in general. I ask for a $50 donation to do that, and we can change your life and get rid of the challenges that you have in your life as far as health is concerned, and other things seem to play out and get better too. And remember a couple things. Remember God, and remember I love you. All my contact information is at the end, or you can click on Show More.